with all these new residents coming in, we have opportunities of spending or investing in our buildings. I know for a fact that this home costed me, let's say $700 per square foot. That's the cost of the building, including the sustainability features. Let me remove the sustainability features. It's $660 per square foot.
Really?
It's $40 per square foot. It's not a lot. It's maybe the 5-6%. And when you're building luxury, what is the 5-6%?
Yeah.
Nothing.
In a world increasingly facing the challenges of climate change, with the Building Green podcast, we will dive deep into the intersection of architecture, design, urbanism, and environmental responsibility. I'm Ladina Schipp, your host. I've been an architect and building site manager for the past 10 years. During my studies at ETH in Switzerland, as well as in my working environment, I've had many touchpoints with sustainability, like many of you, I guess. I've also learned to question what I've been told, which is why I decided to go deeper into the topic and uncover what sustainability actually means. My mission is to highlight the transformative power of sustainable architecture, not just as a practice, but as a catalyst for broader societal change. Subscribe for more of our content and enjoy the show. Today we're here with Gaia Sonzogni. She's founder and architect of Gaia's Design and Yoga Homes. Gaia takes care of her clients' projects from concept design to finished construction with a strong focus on sustainability. Expect to learn how Gaia's firm brings together sustainability and luxury, get her insights into what specific features make a house green, and find out something she had to leave behind and you'll have to ditch too maybe to be aligned with her sustainable goals. At the end of the episode, Gaia will uncover one common myth related to sustainable living. Have fun! Welcome to the show, Building Green, Tomorrow's Architecture Today. We're here with Gaia. So you designed and developed this house. It's amazing. I mean, I'm an architect, so I've seen a lot of beautiful houses, but I'm impressed by the materials you've used, like the warmth that has come together with all the rooms are huge, and it's kind of difficult to keep or to make a warm house out of it. And I really like that. I think it's really an accomplished project. Congrats.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, we put a lot of effort. I say we, I mean me and my business partner in the project. We thought, who's gonna live in the house? And we want them to come here to feel at home, to feel welcome, and to feel protected a little bit, because sometimes you forget that, when you're a developer or an investor, you forget that you're not, this is not a product. This is part of the life of people. Architecture is our life. It's all around us, and this is the most private part of architecture. So the interior design took more than the architecture design, because I really wanted to understand what was gonna be, what is luxury, what is sustainable, what would I want. And this is a home to entertain, and it's a home to relax. Like, I feel like every time somebody comes in and sit down here for more than 10 minutes, they're like, and that's what we wanted, and I'm happy we could achieve it. Yeah,
that's really actually the feeling that I get as well. It's so calm in here, it's great. So, yeah, now that you have your firm that brings together luxury and sustainability, tell us first how you got where you are. Like, what brought you here? Where do you come from? I read about the corporate house that you built as a child. Is that something that...
So, I moved to Miami in 2012 because in Italy I felt like there was no space for me or opportunity for me to grow, or just because really I wanted to do something new. I always felt like wherever I was, it felt small, and the United States are the space. Like, here there is space, there is opportunity for everybody. The country is huge, and there are only 400 million people.
Yeah.
It's a huge market, huge opportunities. So that's the reason why I moved. But I grew up in a very small town close to Milano. It's called Castel Gabbiano. There's a castle. Castel means castle in Italian. All my family are dairy farmers. My mom is a civil engineer. So and she also was a developer throughout her career. So I grew up going to school and then being in her office, then starting to go on construction sites with her, and then just wanting to be in the business. Not really sure if it was architect or engineer, I have to be honest. I just know that I want to be in the construction field somehow. Then it was architecture, just because it gives you a little bit more freedom and creation. And so I studied, and right when I finished my studying career, it was like an economic style in Europe and in Italy, especially 2010, 2011, coming from whatever was happening in the United States in 2008 and 9. So I was like, I finished my master. What do I do? Either I start an internship in Milano, because that's what you do when you finish your master in architecture, and then you go and do your career there, or let me go to see one of my best friends that live in Miami and see what she does. And she does everything else. She works in hospitality, nothing to do with me. But I came here, I fell in love with the light. That's the thing. It's not the weather. For me, it was the color of the sky, the golden hour in Miami, like the sunset, the sunrise. Everything about natural light here is like, for me, the reason why I wake up happy every morning is because of the sky of Miami. And so I decided to stay, and then I made everything possible to stay. In Italy, I already started working with my mom when I was 21, so she was developing projects. And I grew up with her telling me, turn off the light, close the water while you're brushing your teeth, recycle. Like, I grew up like that, caring about everything that I do. And
probably also because you had a farmer's family side, no?
It could be. My mom doesn't like to eat meat, so I don't eat meat. For example, I'm not vegan. It's not really for animal protection or for environment. It's just I grew up like this. For me, it's my normality. And then she used to do energetic certification. Now I don't remember the name. It was Law 10 from the European Union from 1991 or something like that. I remember. So she was already into sustainability. And for me, it was kind of natural to follow her. And I studied environmental architecture at the Politecnico di Milano.
That was already a thing back then.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that long ago, but...
It was 2006 when I started studying. So I did environmental architecture, and meanwhile she was developing projects, and we developed a few projects. It was like 18 homes in a restored old farm, actually. So we did 18 apartments in an old farm building. Then we did 8 new apartments, like kind of townhomes, and then we did 2 homes that are both net zero homes. Mm-hmm. And one of them, it's my mom's house.
Oh, wow.
That was my actual first project completed.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So
I know. I'm lucky. I'm lucky. My mom was my first client. And the house is fully functional, beautiful. You can go to see it if you ever drive by Castel Gabbiano. It's a amazing. Class A plus building, so super energy efficient. And that was actually a prefab home made in a structural wood. So we designed it in 6 months, assemble it. They probably worked 3 months on the construction, on the manufacturing, and then they assemble it in a week. So it was like boop, 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 boop.
Super fast, super weather independent, super precise.
Yeah, it was probably one of the first projects that we were using a heat pump instead of a classical gas or everything else that you use before solar. Yeah. So we had solar providing electricity to the heat pump, and the heat pump worked both for winter and summer weather. And
lots of insulation.
In that case, the best shape in Europe, in north of Italy, the best shape, it's a rectangle or a square, but a rectangle with all the openings to south, with trees that lose their leaves in the winter, so the sun can go through and bring heat. So, and on the north, instead, here we have all the openings to the north. There, less opening to the north because it's the colder side. Yeah. And walls this thick, of course, for the insulation. And it was a great experience because I get to, not every architecture student when they're 21 can actually build a home, and I did, and I kind of built my mom's dream home, which is wonderful. I'm very happy.
Yeah, and like a pioneer project. I mean, net zero homes are still something super innovative, and that was like 10 years ago.
It was completed in 2011, so now it's 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I think that, maybe because I was so into this field already, because I studied because my mom was already doing energy certifications before. And she used to take me to all the fairs, like in Bolzano, what's the name of the company? Wolf House? The ones they used to do like prefab, wood, and sustainable homes. So I was already into that so much that I felt like everybody's doing that.
Yeah.
Here you would think everybody's doing it. It's so easy in Miami with this weather, because the only thing that you have to do is to take down the temperature.
Yeah.
Maybe 6 degrees.
And it's quite a stable climate. It's not like in Europe where you have like 35 degrees Celsius in summer and like minus 10 in winter. So
yeah, here the biggest variation, maybe we have a couple of weeks a year where it's like 14, 15 Celsius.
Yeah.
But the rest of the year it's stable, 24 to 30.
Yeah,
and we never go to 35 or 40, it's the humidity and the rain, it's the factor, the water is the probably the one that we feel the most, and also the government, the city, you live it because the streets get flooded, your house gets flooded if it's not elevated or if you don't have some pump taking care of the excess of water. So, I feel like this is a place where it should be easier to build sustainable because of the climate, because of the condition.
And like you have space.
Correct.
Yeah.
And and on the other end, we are experiencing because of current political, economic situation, Miami is experiencing a surge of residents. We have a lot of people moving here. Before, it used to be, let's say, 60-70% out of the United States moving here. Now it's 80% are Americans that are moving here. So people from New York, people from California, people from Chicago, because they were like, okay, let me see. They have good weather all over the year. Maybe they have a couple of hurricanes in the summer, but and it's naturally a beautiful city.
Yeah.
So with all these, new residents coming in, we have opportunities of building, of spending or investing in our buildings. I know for a fact that this home costed me, let's say $700 per square foot. That's the cost of the building, including the sustainability features. Let me remove the sustainability features. It's $660 per square foot.
Really?
It's $40 per square foot. It's not a lot. Like it's less.
It doesn't make a difference.
It's less. It's maybe the 5-6%. And when you're building luxury, what is the 5-6%?
Yeah.
Nothing. So when I sit down to brokers and they tell me, why did you spend so much on this? I'm like, why not? I'm already. This is a product for a market that doesn't see that difference that much. When you're buying a luxury product, when you're buying a Rolex, when you're buying a Cartier watch, are you looking at the 4 or 5% difference in prices? Really not, because you're buying something because you love it, because you like it, because you appreciate it.
And if it even has like this sustainability factor that makes you feel good, you will pay probably 20-30% more for it.
Well, that I don't know. We will find out once we sell the house. But there was a component of, I can just build a house, a beautiful house, or I can build a beautiful, sustainable house. And it's an opportunity. Of course, it took more from me as an investor, because I did spend more, on a $2.5 million project that $50 per square foot, it's a number. So I did spend more, but I think that, if people like to drive Teslas, why wouldn't they want to live in a house like this? Because this house is self-sustainable. That's it. So, and it was easy to do. I would be very happy to sit down with every other builder in Miami and tell them, okay, I'll help you. I'll tell you how to do it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I mean, for someone that's new to sustainability, it's also a huge effort in terms of time to get a sustainable building, but you come from that background. So for you, it would be maybe even more difficult to build like a normal house and not a sustainable house?
So this project, and I think every project that is sustainable, it starts first with one, passive architecture. So study of the path of the sun, the study of the winds, what is the best shape for the weather, who's going to use the house, and that's, one. And the reason why we did the courtyard here with all the openings to north is because of Miami weather. And you see now what time is it? It's almost midday, and the courtyard it's completely in the shade. So now that winter is starting, you can open the windows completely, and you get this like in and out that you don't get in other homes because they tend to put the patios to the backyards in general. Wherever is the backyard, if the backyard is south or west, that backyard is unlivable from midday to 6 p.m. In the summer, it's unlivable unless you go in the pool. But it's so beautiful outside that you want to be outside, and this gives you an opportunity to live and enjoy the house. So passive architecture first, second is technology. In this case, the envelope is insulated. There's a minimum that is required by law, but let's say that the walls here could be 8 inches. With the minimum, we went to 12 inches and a half. So we have an insulation package here. We have insulation in the concrete blocks, and we have air, and then another insulation and another insulation. So it's a very good package where it's a R21, the percentage here. The roof as well is insulated. The openings, the windows and doors, that has been like probably the hardest part because of hurricane laws. We have to have products that are approved by the state of Florida, specifically here at Miami-Dade County. The windows have to withstand 180 miles per hour winds.
Wow. Are they like double or triple glazing? Is the frame insulated?
They're double, but they are, let's say, bulletproof.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Wow.
because of the hurricane laws, hurricane prevention. So finding a product that was already approved by the county for the hurricanes that was also sustainable, this is the only product that I found. There are better windows and door systems, even more efficient than this. But these comply with the energy efficiency criteria that we were looking for, so it's great. It's just that from an aesthetic point of view, for example, I would have liked smaller frames, nicer handles or locking system, but this is what I have, so I'm happy with it. In future projects, I would like maybe to do more researches, maybe to get other companies to get approved by the county, so I could use more different products. But But
I like that you made like a compromise for the sustainability, like an aesthetic compromise for the sustainability of the building.
Yeah,
even though it's not obviously it's not an aesthetic compromise.
No, but if you think about sistemi secco, like if you think about very nice window where the frame is super thin and beautiful, we don't get that anyways because of the NOAs. That's the name of the approvals that we have to get. Like generally, impact-proof windows are like this because they need to be like this.
Yeah.
But
have you seen European standard windows? They have like 8 centimeter frames, and they are not nice either.
Yeah, I know, but I'm sure that when they're building like a luxury home in Europe, they have very beautiful windows, right? Because I saw them, and I miss them, but it's okay.
So first is the passive architecture, second technology.
Technology, the envelope. Like what we did that is very different from other homes. So we don't really have heating here. We have it. If you want to use it as a heat pump, it can be used, but no. Most of the people will use the cooling, and a lot of people. So this is a set at 74 Fahrenheit, which for me is an acceptable temperature. But there's people that put it at 60, like very, very cold. And instead of using like a ducted system, we used a how do I call this? Is a multi-unit non-ducted. So they're like mini splits, but they're not mini splits. You won't see units around, but every zone of the house has its own unit, and we have just one blower in the back of the house. So just because of the passive architecture choices and the insulation of the house, we are already consuming 65% less than my neighbor. Just with orientation and insulation. Just with that, it's already 60% savings. Plus, we have this Mitsubishi system that it's like the Ferrari of the of the air conditioning, which is energy efficient, CR23. So it's like the best machine on the market for cooling. And you can regulate every zones at a different temperature, which in a home, you might have somebody that wants to sleep cold, somebody wants to sleep with more heat. So this is a sustainability feature, but it's also a luxury feature because nobody has a system like this one. Plus, since it's a non-ducted system, so it means that, this is duct, the unit is over there in the room, and the duct goes through here. And then the other unit is there, and the duct goes through there. So there's not a lot of desperdicio.
Loss?
Not a lot of loss of, cooling and air. Also, we have a dehumidifier, which is, a plus. Not a lot of people use it here. And the air comes fresh out of the house. It's not recycled. So it gets from the outside. I'm not sure if I'm saying something that it's very normal in Europe or very normal in other architecture, but not in Miami. So the market here doesn't have these features. So this home is unique because it's sustainable. It's not unique because it's beautiful. It's beautiful. There are a lot of beautiful homes and a lot of wonderful architects in Miami doing stunning homes, but they don't think about this.
Yeah, you achieved to put it all together.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. Sustainability and the beauty. It's amazing.
Well, there's another aspect to sustainability. We were talking about it before. It's also how long it's going to last. And when you design or build something beautiful, it tends to last more. So maybe the home that was here before, if it was beautiful, if it was a beautiful architecture, maybe I wouldn't have demolished it.
Yeah, that's right.
Because there are a lot of architecture around the world that nobody's demolishing because of their architectural value. So if you're doing a home that has architectural value and design value, it tends not to get demolished in the next 50 years. Maybe white square without any special finish, and I just say design without love, probably is going to get demolished, again.
Yeah.
So, beauty is sustainable.
A few of you might know that I recently opened my own architecture studio, and I just started with the podcast. I'm very excited to build a platform where I connect with inspiring people to learn along the way and share these learnings with you. So if any little thing has inspired you, or if you learned anything new, I'd appreciate if you could rate the show or share my content on social media, Spotify or YouTube or wherever you listen to it. And if you think there are any touch points between you and me, I'd be super happy to connect with you. Feel free to reach out on any platform. And what do you think would be, so we were with the passive architecture, with the technology, we also talked about local or long-lasting materials before. Yeah. What would be something that any homeowner could implement today? Is there anything like an easy aspect or something they would have to ditch, let's say? Well,
I can speak about this weather, and I can something that they can do now. Upgrading your windows and doors, it's number one and easy. Upgrading your roofing system and insulation. So this is something that you normally do. For example, in Florida, every 10 years, people redo the waterproofing, the roofing, pretty much. That's what they call roofing here. It's not like they redo the structure, but they redo the waterproofing. So you do it because every 10 years, between rain, salty air, and everything, it gets damaged. So while you're doing it, you can upgrade to a more insulated and sustainable system. Very easy. Doors and windows, most of the homes and most of the condominiums too that were built before 1998, they don't have impact-proof doors. So the moment that you're upgrading from a simple window and you're upgrading already to a hurricane-proof door, these doors are already very efficient in terms of energy. Of course, just to give you an example, this window package would have costed us $250,000. The non-sustainable version, the basic impact-proof, would have costed $180,000. So it's a substantial difference. But that basic package, it's still an upgrade from the old windows. So I think that the easy fix is insulation from the roof, doors, and upgrade the AC unit, because they're, those are easy fix that you can do to your home. Mm-hmm. If you want to start from the lowest budget, it's probably the air conditioning unit or the heating system. Then, it's a bigger expense, the roof, the windows, the insulation. But, when I have clients that approach me with remodeling projects, the first thing I do is, let's put insulation. Or, for example, if I'm doing a more substantial remodeling, so meaning that they're telling me that they want to move things around in the house, maybe I suggest, why don't we block out the window that maybe is on west and it's like bringing a lot of heat, and we open the window to north, and we do like a sliding door like this one on the north side. So I have a project very close by, it's like 2 blocks from here. We did a pool house and we did exactly the same. So we opened more windows to north, so they had small openings to the north and like bigger openings to the south. We just like move things around, and now they have naturally less heat coming in. Yeah. So they have to use less energy to cool down the house. So that would be the choice. In terms of interiors, I try to work with the most material, with most of the interiors with local materials, but then I had to make the decision of like sourcing what was gonna last more and what was gonna, also, we try to do a design that it's a little bit timeless in the sense of, that people wouldn't get tired, and usually
so it lasts longer and it's more sustainable,
Usually natural stone is something that people tend to preserve because it has a value. Like, I have the story of this floor. This was purchased in April 2021. And one of the pallets that got delivered on site, I bought it in April 2021. We started installing it in April 2022. So it was a year. Yeah. And the material was already in Miami for a year before. Before coming from Mexico. So let's say that the material was 2 years old when it came on site. So one of the pallets with a lot of tiles broke, it fell. Oh, no. So I was short of, 400 square feet of tiles. And I tried to source the same material, and this shade is not coming out of the mountain anymore.
No, really?
Not this shade. So I had to, in that bedroom over there, and the powder room, like in that area, I had to use, these are 4x4 feet tiles. That one is 2x4. So the only
because
one.
You cut the broken one, or you got new ones?
No. The thing is that of this same color, they only had in stock, saved, like a small quantity in another size. So in that area, we used the other size because we tried to get new tiles. And it's another color. It's simply like, it's whiter, it has more black shades. So, this material is unique. And when you think about that, it's special. Same thing happened with the cladding, the outdoors. That's coral rock. on the facades, and that comes from Dominican Republic. And it's called fossil. If you go very close by, you see shells in it, you see like little like corals in it. It's very beautiful. So if you go on the back of the house, there's a part where the stone looks kind of different because it finished.
Yeah.
So as simple as that. Like there are things that are like so unique because they're natural and they're not. You cannot repeat it. You know. We tried to get the same one, but it came like with the same fossil, let's say, but the color was like a little bit more pink and less yellow or beige. So, you know, that's unique too. And that's a live wall, you know, unless you power wash it and seal it once a year, that's going to become another color slowly, which I love. I don't know whoever is going to buy the house, what they're going to do. But if it was my home, I would leave it a little bit, you know.
Let it live a bit.
Let it live. And then, you know, of course, the floorings, we use the same material, but it's a closed pour because that's going to get clean more, you know, even for safety purposes, is going to need to be clean every year and sealed. In my experience here, I did a lot of remodelings. Like, to be honest, I did probably more than 100 remodelings over the last 10 years.
In Miami?
Yeah.
Wow.
And when I had clients with natural stone floors, they don't let it go.
Yeah.
Even if they have small sizes that right now don't look like as in vogue, like they're not trendy. Small size in marble, I see them like be like, but it's marble, you know? And I'm like, okay, let's keep it, let's find a way, let's clean it, let's, you know.
Yeah.
And the same thing is a wood floor. I love porcelain, don't get me wrong, and I think that for some applications, it's the right way to go. So, for example, the kitchen counter.
I just wanted to say for kitchen counters.
The kitchen counter, I cook. And the kitchen counter, the summer kitchen out there,
outside.
That's porcelain.
Yeah,
so
super resisting.
We decided to go just in that area with porcelain because we wanted to, you know, that's the durability aspect and the practicality. So how many times will people drop a glass of wine here? I don't know, maybe once, twice. I don't know. It depends how sloppy your friends are. In the kitchen, it would happen more often, you know, when you're cutting a lemon or whatever you're doing. The natural stone gets opaque, gets damaged, and then you have to call the guy that has to use chemical products to fix it. Not worth it. So in the kitchen and, you know, even in the master shower on the walls, we decided to go with porcelain because I felt like that's the place that they're going to use more soap products, cleaning lady. I just didn't want to have the risk of, in a year or two,
having to redo it. Or like that it gets damaged beyond to a point that you have to replace it. So but yes, I'm a big fan of natural materials. And did they ever ask you in another project to do something extravagant, something that you didn't feel comfortable from a sustainable aspect, that you had to say no to? Did
it happen? Yes. That I said no to? You know, it's more a choice, you know. Now a client that approaches me knows what I do. Yeah. When I was growing up and I was a young immigrant, I didn't have the opportunity to choose my clients. Yeah. It was more like whatever it comes, I take it because it's a school, I'm learning. And you know, I didn't say how I got here now, but I had my own construction company for 7 years here in Miami before, with which I did a lot of the remodelings that I designed. And that process, like sometimes I see like apartments that are in like good condition and they ask me to throw away furniture, they ask me to throw away bathrooms, they ask me to throw away appliances. And you know, luckily we always found a way to either donate them or either the guys that were doing the demolition, they were like, can we take them away? I was like, yes. So right now, when I approach a project and I have a demolition, I put in my estimate a salvaging plan, which is, you know, pretty much a recycling plan of whatever it's in the unit. At the beginning, you know, when a client was like, no, throw it away, I don't care. And I'm like, can I give it to one of the guys, like a perfectly working refrigerator or laundry, like it's things like that, you know. The idea that Europeans have of America and that it's a consumerism and that they just, something doesn't work, they throw it away. It's true. Like, and I lived here and I almost become like that in certain things. Like now, an appliance is broke, I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? Because I don't know who to call. Like in my little town in Italy, there's the guy that fixes appliances.
Yeah.
Here I don't know where to go, and I don't know if they know how to do it. And most of the time that something broke, the response is send it back, and they send you a new one. So you don't really know what happened to the one that doesn't work.
That's interesting. You know, in Switzerland, at least, I don't know how it's in the rest of Europe, when you demolish a building, there's like a second-hand market where you bring old windows or tiles or wood or whatever, and when you plan a new project, you can take stuff from there. I mean, you got to be lucky that these windows that they have there fit exactly your project, or you have to be flexible. But I like the concept of it in a way.
That's something that here it's due when you're doing new construction. So a salvaging plan for a new construction, if you're demolishing a home, you're doing it. For remodelings, it's not required. So, you know, I've been remodeling a lot of homes that didn't want to, you know, demolish and make a new one. And for those homes, you know, there are also companies that do recycling of material, but I'm not sure of the quality of the work that they do. I didn't have time. I hope I'm going to have time in the next 2 years to actually see the cycle in person and, you know, follow one of these guys that come and pick up garbage from the project and see if they actually recycle it. I know that wood for sure, glass for sure, metals for sure, those get recycled yes.
Did you follow
concrete,
them?
No, I know because they, for the salvaging plan, they have to provide documents showing that where they sold the material, because they actually get paid to selling it, to sell the demolished stuff. So I have proof. I didn't go to see it.
Okay.
Well, I will find out.
We're going to trust them. No, this has been so interesting. Is there like a green myth that you hear often that you think is like not true and that we have to debunk in a way?
Well, the thing is that when you talk about sustainability and green homes here, they think you are a supporter of Bernie Sanders, and that's something only Democrats would do, and that's something that you have to debunk. Like, sustainability is not political, you know, or like building green is not political. It's for everybody, and it's for everybody. And the reason why I decided to do sustainable luxury, it's because when an influencer does it, everybody does it. There are small things, the products that you use in your home, etc., etc. When you see it coming from somebody influential, you want to do it too. So the idea was, let's say that today I did this home, and this home hopefully is going to sell for $7.4 million, let's say.
We'll put that.
Let's say that it's going to sell like that. And then I'm working with an Argentinian developer, and we're building more homes. And they won last year for a project in Saudi Arabia. They won the best sustainable home globally. Like they're very focused on sustainability, and that's why we align, and that's why we're working together. So with them, we have projects to do 5 to 10 homes per year.
Cool.
And let's say that I get to do a house for somebody very influential in a moment, and that person understands what I'm saying, you know.
Yeah.
And they make sustainability cool, not Bernie Sanders.
They love
make it
that.
Cool. They make it cool, and then it becomes, you know, if you don't do it, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's so easy. Why you're not doing it? That's how I want to make it. You know, that's how I want to make it. And I mean, it's. I grew up like this, and I grew up with my mom telling me, don't buy fast fashion. Buy things, beautiful things that will last and that you love. Like, don't buy everything. And it's the same thing with the car, and it's the same thing with the house. That's it.
I love it. It's like such an honest answer and such a good approach. And in a way, it's also what I want to do with the podcast. Like, I know you can recycle and anything, but I think you have to go bigger. And I think we have to make sustainability cool and like normal and like show people how you can easily implement it yourself without being political, without using, in Europe at least, using your bicycle instead of the car and getting wet in the rain. Like, that's not the only thing you have to do, you know? There's cooler things to be sustainable.
Yeah, it's true.
No, that's super cool. So if our listeners want to get in touch with you or want to see your projects, where can they find you?
In Instagram.
What's your Instagram account?
Gaia, Gaia _S _studio. Gaia S Studio.
Perfect. I'll put your Instagram and your website
much.
and everything on the podcast.
Thank you.
It has been such a pleasure to talk to you. I think we've learned a lot, and a lot that like architects or homeowners and all our listeners can learn. It's amazing, and we're excited for the opening party of the house tomorrow.
Thank you. Me too. No more storms.
I hope you enjoyed the episode and you learned a lot about sustainable architecture and how to make your building green for your next project. Join us on the house tour in the next episode, where we walk around the whole house and show you every detail we've talked about. Make sure you follow us if you don't want to miss it, and leave your comments or questions below. A huge thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe to the show wherever you listen to the podcast to support me and so you don't miss an episode. And while you're there, I'd also be so grateful if you could rate and review us. If you have any guest suggestions or any feedback, you can find me on the socials at Latina Schöpf. Thanks.